Hello, welcome back to Killer Ant Reviews, and today we are reviewing actually a double today. We are reviewing Child of Daystar, book 1 of the Wings of War series, and The Roaring Sun, book 2 of the Wings of War series. So, the thing is I actually saw this at a local board game store. They sold a bunch of nerd stuff, and this was actually on sale. So I decided to buy the first two books. The third and fourth and fifth were gone already. So I bought the whole series. And I didn't even know what to expect because never heard of this guy, Bryce O'Connor. He's actually a local author, and honestly, I was pleasantly surprised I actually enjoyed the series. Which is pretty much as soon as I was done with the first book, I went in and read the second one. And overall, it's enjoyable. So basically, the Child of Daystar is I'm hoping I can pronounce this right, but it's a guy named Raz. There's a bunch of other things. I'm not sure if I pronounced it right. He's like a lizard creature with rings, and he's unusual because most males of the species are loners and basically considered ferals, while the females are like the intelligent ones. He's one of the rare ones that actually have wings, since most of them just don't have them. So he was actually rescued from the brink of death by a group of nomads and raised as one of their own. And not only did he end up actually liking this, he actually joined him as a child, and they also saw that he was good at fighting. Why? Because his species are actually unnaturally strong. Overall, the book series is definitely an enjoyable action ride. There was a ton of great action, great and detailed action scenes, and great world building. It definitely built up like a desert world. So bases like marketplaces, everything that's been happening, and like the first half of the book is basically going through his childhood, like learning not to like attack humans and even protect them. And the second half is him as an adult. There were some tragedies, and this is the guy that you do not want to anger, because if you anger him, you're pretty much dead, because he's one of the most fearsome combatants. You send like a group of people after him, you're pretty sure you're not going to see any of them, because he also had the spear forged, which I can't pronounce that name either. I'm really bad at names, but it's his trusty spear, among other things. My only problem with it is that there seems to be like a subplot that didn't feel like went anywhere. It's like some traveling priests. One of them, who's a albino, was probably the most interesting because he saved her at one point, but I don't think that kind of went anywhere in the first book. It feels like it was just building up to something that didn't really have any payoff. But overall, I definitely recommend you read this. It's actually not a long book. It's about 260 something pages. So it's not absolutely long, and the chapters are short. They can range from like, I think one was half a page to just a few pages. And there's a lot of chapters. So what would I give Child of Daystar? Overall, I'll give it an 8 out of 10 if it wasn't for a couple of like subplots I felt like went nowhere. Just I haven't read the other three. It could have a payoff later. Could have been higher. He's definitely probably one of the most intriguing characters. The author definitely gave him like a 3-dimensional personality. So you end up rooting for him despite how violent he is. He's kind of almost like an anti-hero, except that he's actually killing people who are worse. Basically, he's killing a lot of slavers, people who did him wrong. And now we're up to the Roaring Sun, which has him going up north where it's cold, where his species cannot really thrive. So he's trying to get away from his past life. He ends up meeting like a young man and his younger sister, which he befriends and protects. Apparently they were going to be put into like a slave gladiator pit to die because of some debts. He saves them and actually takes over their debts to fight for them. And basically a lot of action happens. Once again, you definitely feel like you're in his shoes, as he's basically sacrificing himself, and at the same time, because he has a huge bounty on his head from the first book, he's actually going to take on all the bounty hunters in gladiator combat, including up to eight at a time. Once again, this one wasn't as good just because it seems like there's like a bunch of quarter of the book kind of slow to a crawl, with another subplot building up to something that didn't really affect the outcome, which is kind of sad because this definitely has probably a couple of the most shocking moments in the series so far. And there was a couple of moments in the first one that were shocking, but this one's even more shocking. Because if you've seen Game of Thrones, where they kill off characters that you love, they kind of do that, sadly. But overall, the last 5 chapters are probably the most intense and emotional of it, so it definitely has the best ending. I just wish the middle part was a bit better. But overall, I would definitely give this one a 7.5. It was a 7 earlier, but now that I'm thinking about the ending, definitely a solid 7.5. And if I can, I will probably go after the other 3 books and read those. I'm not sure if the author will ever see this, but I definitely recommend at least reading these books. Once again, The Roaring Sun. It's not even a long book either. It's about 250-something pages. Neither one of these books are really long. But if you're definitely into like fantasy and don't like having like boring perfect humans or elves just being a good guy, because he's kind of on the gray line of being a good guy. Like, he has good intentions, but he'll just kill everything in his path. That's not innocent. Basically, they give him the nickname of the Monster because if you're his enemy, he'll kill you. But like I said, definitely check it out if you're interested in some fantasy. I definitely recommend that you support this author. He's definitely a kind of a newish author that only has a few books. Wings of War is probably his biggest series so far. And if I do end up acquiring the other 3 books, I'll definitely review them on this channel. So, until next time I'll probably go ahead and read the next chapter of Wizard of Oz as Smeargle. So if you definitely like this channel, definitely leave a like, comment, and subscribe.